Whoa, hey there, ladies and gentlemen. What's happening, Hobie? Why are you in a ground battle? Good question. Okay, so, let me see if I can put my thoughts together first, so I'm not just, like, screaming at you guys. So I did a bunch of playing off-camera. It was super awesome. I was making a ton of progress, then my game crashed, and now I'm trying to get all of that progress back, which I am so happy about. Oh, these guys. Just get over here. So I've played this battle once already. It was a overwhelming victory last time. I'm hoping that I can repeat that.
All right, man, take cover. Construction.
I need to build up those turrets. You guys, get over here. Today, I'm going to be broadening your horizons. You'll love me by the end of this. If you don't love me already, please love me. I love you guys. So, I am going to put a video in the description for this one. It's going to be a little bit different, probably, than what you guys are used to. Now, this is just an assumption, of course, but it's a little off, and I don't want you to judge it by what you see at first, okay? It is undoubtedly a kind of a niche thing. Some of you may not think that you're into it, and that's okay. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But I want you to listen to the music, first of all. It's only like a minute and a half long, so it won't take long. You don't have to do it right now. You just have to do it at some point, okay?
Copy.
And I want you to use headphones. I want you to really kind of immerse yourself in the music, because I think it is a fantastic experience, and it illustrates almost perfectly the way that YouTube works, that a lot of this, like, really, really great stuff goes almost completely undiscovered. Now, you know, this guy that made this is actually pretty, he's, well, relatively speaking, he's popular. He's met a pretty decent amount of success, which I think is totally deserved, and it makes me really happy. Because I really like the stuff that he puts out. He makes some... It's music, is what it is, if you haven't guessed already. It's really, really great. And I wanted to do this because, like I said, today is all about broadening our horizons. And I think it's a great example of not judging a book by its cover. Now, those of you that haven't watched it already, it's a brony thing. Those of you that are not familiar with what a brony is someone that watches My Little Pony that's outside of its kind of target demographic, I suppose. So, you know, that might be like someone in their 20s watching the show, which, you know, I myself am not a brony, but I don't hate on them. To each their own. Oh, wow, okay, I wasn't expecting that. I thought this was a much bigger assault. But this guy is a brony, and he makes a lot of music. Now, the music doesn't really have anything to do with My Little Pony, but it is really, really great music. If you're not into, like, the whole electronic scene or dubstep, then maybe it's not for you, but this in particular was kind of like an exploratory piece, that he did, just to kind of, I suppose, explore... What is this? Sure, I'll build that. I don't know what that is, but that looks awesome. It's kind of explore sound, like make kind of a soundscape, I suppose. And I think it's really cool. It's really neat, and it's really kind of, it gives me chills. Especially there's one point where it kind of like fades out and then slowly rises again, and it comes back. It's so good. It's so good. Anyways, I'm back from vacation. Hi, like 5 minutes into this freaking video, and I'm just getting through the introduction. That is pathetic. How much money am I making, by the way? I need to remember to keep that on. Maybe I should put an agent here. So I've done a little bit of playing off-screen. I've got maybe not a significant amount, but I've got a few more ships than I did last time. I've been focusing on building up my my fleets pretty effectively, I think. What was it, Corellia? Yeah. Someone wanted me to make hunters. Oh. Carrot cruiser. Oh, man.
calamari crews are ready.
I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry. You'll have to tell me exactly what ship that is and where it can be built, because at the moment I'm not
Vehicle in production.
not remembering. So I think I did a little bit of offense. I thinned out their fleets a little bit. I shored up some of my defenses. I tried not to do anything, like, super crazy off camera. I've still got a lot of work to do when it... Oh, is that a level 3 space station? Goodness. Still got a lot of work to do when it comes to... Oh, shoot. Onderon, where's that? Oh, no, I forgot about that. I meant to take back this planet. I still need to bring in my ground engagement force. I wonder what they have. Alright, well, this is one of my bigger fleets, so it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I think I've made a lot of good progress here. I know it doesn't seem like it. I'm still kind of trying to play catch-up. I may show you once this is over, but I looked at some of the charts. As militarily, I'm mopping up the competition. But economically, I'm getting destroyed. And that's my fault. I've let the rebellion steal way too much of my money and get away with it. And
We will not be
they've got a lot more production going on for as far as money goes. But as far as ships goes and just general defense, I'm wiping the floor with them. So I think there's still a pretty good chance that I'll do pretty well here. I hope, anyways. I should still have a pretty distinct advantage in terms of just the raw survivability of my ships. I've got a bunch of Star Destroyers now, and now I just kind of need to focus on building up some support ships to go with them, and I should have a fair number of fleets. Once I've got a fair number of fleets, I'm going to build up a invasion force, partially consisting of...
Interceptor here.
That's not what I wanted.
Interceptor squad reporting.
Yeah, there we go. Partially consisting of a lot of, like, assault forces. And then... Oh, shoot. Who else was my other bomber? Your squadron... No, it wasn't them.
Bomber squadron reporting.
Okay, it was them. Okay. Partially consisting of a lot of, like... big attack fleets that I'll just kind of sweep around a bunch of planets, and then I'll go and take my ground attack force and then just mop up the remains. Goodness gracious, they have a lot of fighters and bombers.
Target critical.
It's a good thing they're smart enough not to just hang back, otherwise this probably would have been a losing battle. I think the AI thinks it can win this one. Let me go ahead and pull this guy up here. We'll get him in a position where he can attack some of these fighters. Get them up front, and I'll let my bombers switch weapons so they can actually defend themselves. Oh, you fool! You poor fool! Right into my guns. Yeah, you better run. You better run! That's right! Represent! Alright, go get those bombers. Maybe I should get, like, a few of these guys as well. Get them on those bombers. Because if those bombers take out anything important, I could be in a lot of trouble. What are they shooting? This is the ion blasts? These TIE fighters are super slow. Those TIE interceptors are way better. I think I'm doing pretty okay here. Anyways, so I just got back from vacation. Now, those of you that don't, like, keep up with anything other than just this series, you may have been wondering, Hobie, what the heck? Where are all the videos? What have you been doing this whole time? Yeah, I was at the beach with my girlfriend's family, and it was super fun and super awesome, and it was great. I went to Tybee Island in Georgia, which sounds goofy, and it is goofy. It's this tiny little place on the Atlantic Ocean. It's great. It's like this little well-kept secret that that kind of just the locals know about. And it's really great. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. I'd really recommend it to anybody that lives in the States, especially if you live close by. It's kind of small, so I mean, if you're really into like the party scene, or you just want to like go and have a good time somewhere and not just relax, then maybe it's not for you. But it's great. I did a whole bunch of great stuff. Had a bunch of great experiences. Like, my girlfriend's family is Catholic. Okay, so we went to church or mass or whatever you want to call it on Sunday, the first Sunday that we got there. And it was like one of those tiny little... I mean, when I say a tiny church, I mean it was like puny little place. So it was this really close-knit community, I suppose. And that's always kind of like heartwarming. Oh man, I gotta get rid of some of these bombers before they come in. It was really kind of heartwarming, and like, you know, when you have those little close-knit communities, you tend to get some eccentric personalities, to say the least. So one of the priest dudes, because, you know, when you go into like a normal Catholic church, or like a cathedral or anything like that, you come in and, you know, sometimes there's singing. It's a very like somber, it feels like a holy experience, you know. It's even if you're not religious, you know, you go in, it's very relaxed and quiet, and you have time to sit down and kind of like open up your mind and really think and reflect on some things. And there's some gentle singing and maybe like some organ music, and, you know, it sort of like echoes around, and the light falls on everything just perfectly. It's the showmanship is fantastic. You know, they really like do a great job when they're constructing these things, keeping a whole bunch of different things in mind. And this guy is singing. He looks like he's maybe in his like 50s, or I don't know. He's wearing like the big old robe, and it's on this second floor. It's like a balcony or like an overlook where he's got his organ playing, and he's kind of looking down over everybody and singing, just practicing his notes. And, you know, it's very relaxing. And then he hits a wrong note, and I hear him just go, "Julie, I just can't see. These gnats are in my face." It was like the most disruptive thing I've ever heard. You know, here I am. I'm not actually Catholic. You know, I would consider myself Christian. And, you know, if you're not, I'm not trying to like force belief on anybody or like open up a debate or anything. So, you know, if this happens in the comment section, please just respect what other people believe in. Don't call it stupid. Don't call them stupid. Odds are you've believed dumb things in your life too. So even if you think that things are dumb and that somebody else is dumb for believing in them, you believed in Santa Claus at one point. Just saying. So, you know, it's like this really disruptive thing, and here I'm not, like I said, I'm not Catholic, but I was kind of like getting into the whole thing. I was like, yeah, you know, this is really cool. I was admiring the architecture and the stained glass windows, and it was just this really, really neat place to be in, and I was kind of getting into it and, you know, opening my mind, doing all these things, and it's so disruptive. It was almost like shocking. Like, as soon as he did it, I was like, what's happening? It's just this awful feeling of all of a sudden, like, everything changed, and, you know, you were just like yanked out of this reverie that you were in. Oh, it was awful. And it was kind of surprising too, because it was such a small island. And, you know, this is getting away from the church thing. This is actually a totally different story, I suppose. But it was such a small island, and they had, like, so many different nationalities of people there. It was amazing, really. We went to a wildlife natural preserve center place. And you know, we were doing like this live experience where we got to like handle a couple different animals and stuff. Like, the lady brought out baby American alligator. There was like I think it was a possum, I want to say. Yeah, it was a possum. One of the only I think it was actually the only marsupial in America. And, you know, I was expecting just to see like a lot of small town people there, maybe people that were vacationing there, but there was this German family that was there. And I find it funny because I think German is like a really cool language, you know, and I picked it up instantly as soon as they started speaking it to each other. But I found it funny, like, how stereotypically German they were being. Now, you know, I'm not like a huge fan of stereotypes or anything. You know, I think they're funny sometimes, but they're not always like, you know, true, I guess. They're kind of misleading sometimes. They can be hurtful, and I understand that. I just found it funny because, like, as soon as the lady brought the snake around, she's like, hey, do you want to, like, and pardon the inadvertent sexual euphemism here, but she's like, hey, do you guys want to pet the snake? And they're like, oh, yeah, oh, that sounds like so much fun. What do you think? it was so funny because it was so stereotypical. Like, like I said, I love German, but come on, guys, you're not like doing yourselves any justice when you sound like Hans and Franz. And I don't even know if Hans and Franz are German, but that's what they sounded like. I was expecting them to go like, oh yeah, let's do some cold push-ups on the cold hard ground. How many squats can you do? I can count over 1,000. It was just this really weird thing that I started like telling everybody else about it, and they found it hilarious, which I'm glad, because I would have felt like a super duper jerk if I hadn't been laughing about it as well. There's also a lot of history in Tybee, Georgia. I got to go visit an old fort from the Civil War. Now, I know a lot of my audience is an American, so I wouldn't expect you to know anything about American history, but it was from the Civil War where the North fought against the South over a lot of ideals, not just slavery, but slavery was definitely one of the bigger ones. My gosh, this battle is taking a long time. I may have to kick this into overdrive. There's not a whole lot of micromanaging that I can do at this point, other than just mopping up everything. The American Civil War was the North versus the South over a lot of issues, economically, politically, sociologically, ideals, mainly slavery. Slavery was a big issue, and that's like one of the main things you need to know if you want to pass the textbook version of what happened during the American Civil War. It happened in, unless I'm mistaken, the 1800s. A lot of like musket warfare, things like that. You know, it was a really kind of tumultuous time because brother was being turned against brother over the ideals of a nation. It was very... Oh my gosh, look at that. I love that! I love it! It was a very tumultuous time in U.S. history, and it's a really sad one as well. So we got to go see a fort that was used by both sides during the Civil War. And I think it was initially Union constructed. I mean, if you're one of those guys that really likes to do the research, then the name of it is Fort Pulaski, right? Really, really cool place. But it was initially constructed to be like... Wait, what the heck? Oh, sweet! They have a ground force over there. Nice! Initially, it was constructed to be like this impenetrable fortress that was supposed to watch over one of the river entrances into coastal United States. I don't remember which river it is, I apologize. Pardon me. But it was positioned on the coastline with another fort on the other side of the river, with the idea that you would have to sail past both forts to get down the river, and while you were doing that, the superior range and firepower that the fort had would just pound your ships to pieces. Now, of course, during the late Civil War, when we started using the Ironside battleships, you know, that was actually something that they could potentially sail right past, given that, you know, they'd be able to sail upriver with enough power to actually keep themselves going. But, you know, at the time, that was like a deal breaker, because they just pound like half of your ships to pieces before you got anywhere. So the Confederacy realized it was a good idea. The Confederacy is the South. Realized it was a good idea to take these forts, or at least one of them, before launching their a lot of their attacks, like upriver. So they did the logical thing in setting up a bunch of cannon positions along the river. Now, and I don't exactly remember, but the fort did not last nearly as long as it was supposed to. It was actually a shock to both the defenders and the commander of the fort how fast it actually fell. It wasn't ready. It wasn't finished being constructed by the time it was attacked. They only had maybe like a pittance of the number of cannons that they were supposed to have on hand. They barely had anything while they were there. So when it was attacked, they weren't ready. The cannons that were set up along the coastline to bombard the fort had superior firepower and range, and they could not, the defenders could not hit the cannon crews. So he knew, you know, there was nothing he could do. All he could do is just let his men be killed off slowly, one by one, as this fort was being pounded to pieces. So he surrendered. He surrendered the fort to save the lives of his men, which I think was a very admirable decision. Probably not one that sat well with him, and I think it's great that he sucked up his pride and did it anyways. So the Confederacy, and this is, of course, if my understanding of the history is correct, the Confederacy took over the fort. Now, I don't remember exactly how much longer it was, but the Union came back. That's the North. They came back, and went to retake the fort. Now, the fort was already pretty well beat up. I think there was even one report of a cannonball sailing over the wall and bouncing next to the powder magazine stored in one of the walls and bouncing into the officers' quarters. And I think shortly after that, the fort was surrendered. But when the Union came back, they came back with a new technological advantage, being rifled barrels and conical-shaped cannonballs. Now, those of you that don't know anything about guns, a rifled barrel means that it has spiraled grooves going down the inside of the barrel, and the bullet will sometimes have something on it as well, but the idea is that it spins the bullet, and it makes it go further, and it makes it go faster, and it makes it more accurate. It's all around just a better way of shooting a bullet. So, it surprised the Confederacy when the Union set up even further away. And the Confederacy was like, okay, well, you know, this is stupid. The Union guys are all like, okay, hey, you know, surrender the fort. You know, we've got you outgunned. We're giving you a chance to just give it to us. Nobody has to die. Confederacy was like, please, you guys got nothing. We know that you're outside of the range of those cannons, which they were right. But the Union showed them what for. They came in and kicked the crap out of them. I mean, they were punching through the walls of this thing like it was tissue paper. I may include a few pictures of the initial assault. I actually took a few pictures of the walls, and you can still see the damage from the cannonballs, which I think is awesome. It's really cool. You can see where the wall collapsed and it had to be rebuilt. You can see where there's still a whole bunch of like pit marks in the walls. There's even one spot in particular where you can see a cannonball actually hit one of the cannons of the defenders. It broke off the front of it. I mean, what are the odds of that? How cool is that? So it's really neat. I don't know, I don't want to like include my oh, how tacky would that be to include my friggin' vacation pictures in like a semi-professional setting? Oh gosh. But anyway, it was a really cool thing, and I love to see the history. I mean, there's a lot of times where history is just some abstract thing. It doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the things happening today, and that's a mistake to think that way. It really is. History is so important for everything that we experience and everything that we go through on a daily basis. You know, they say that those who do not learn from the past are doomed to repeat it, and I firmly believe in that. You know, society is built on the foundations of what was laid down before we came, so I think it's important to learn from it and improve on it. And it's pretty rare when you can reach out and kind of touch history, when you can see it and touch it and feel it with your hands. You know, it's not like a common thing, I guess. So it was a really neat experience, to say the least, that you could actually like reach out and kind of touch and see some of these holes that these cannonballs punched into the walls. You could almost like hear the cannon fire whistling as it was like impacting on these walls, and the screams of the defenders, and it was a really, really cool experience, and it's something that I would recommend to just about anybody. You know, it's I really don't know how to describe it in any more justice. I think it's something you really have to experience for yourself, but it's something I would recommend to anybody. I really would. So yeah, the fort was really, really cool, and I hope I can get those pictures off my phone, put a few of them up here. It's amazing just to see how much of pounding this place took before it actually fell. And those of you, I know a few of you play Mountain Blade Napoleonic, which is all about the muskets and the cannons and stuff, and regimental things, and it's pretty cool. It's a really cool game. If you haven't heard of it, you should check it out. Mountain Blade by itself is like one of my favorite games ever. I sunk a stupid amount of time into that game. So, you know, it's something that I would highly recommend checking out, especially if you like that sort of thing. Oh, crap! Oh, no! Oh, no! You guys are gonna get there first! Oh, no! Oh, I'm gonna have to retreat. Shoot! I was hoping the fleets would move at the same speed, and they didn't do that. Gosh darn it! I was about to start my super awesome attack! You guys are too fast. Alright, immediately pull back. Immediately.
These vagrants stand in our way. Eliminate them to prepare for our land invasion.
Retreat! Retreat! Go, go, go! Run, run, run! Oh, man. Yeah, do you guys remember when this show used to be funny? do you remember when I used to be entertaining and I didn't just talk about my vacation? Oh my gosh. What has happened to me? What am I doing? What is my life?
Tactical battle imminent.
Oh, good. Auto-resolve. There we go. Jeez. That was unnecessarily complicated. Okay, I've got a good fleet in position. I've got my ground attack fleet. I'm going to start taking some of these planets, and then start moving my way around.
Mon calamari crews are ready.
Ooh, that's
On my way,
not
sir.
something I like to hear. Anyways, I think that's about it for this episode. It should be, anyways. Yeah, I'm at my 25-minute mark. Man. Oh, I almost forgot! Community event! Yes, if you made it this far into the video, first of all, bless you. You are amazing. Second of all, I would love to hear suggestions. I am closing in on 1,000 subscribers, and that means it's time to play a game together again, and I'm really excited. Before you start submitting random suggestions, there are a few things I would like for you to keep in mind. Number 1, make sure the game is easily accessible. If at all possible, it needs to be able to be played on a toaster. A lot of people don't have, like, super high-end gaming PCs. Number 2, the game needs to be cheap or free. And when I say cheap, I mean, like, dollars. Not like, you know, like 20 bucks. I mean, like, hopefully something that everybody already has, or something that can just be picked up for free and is, like, super simple and cheap and, you know, all that stuff. And third, it needs to be, relatively speaking, community-friendly. I'm sorry, like, it needs to have a relatively high player count, I guess, that we can all kind of play together and that we don't have to, like, shuffle around and do a whole bunch of stupid stuff. I have a few ideas. I mean, like, something like Minecraft could be fun, you know, because it's a game that just about everybody has.
Yes, Commander.
Or something like, shoot, I don't know. I had a list going. I'm going to have to remember what it was. Or StarMade. I don't know if any of you have played StarMade. I may make a short video about it pretty soon. Who's that? Oh, it's a heavy weapon squad. Okay. I may make a short video about it pretty soon, but it is a super, super awesome game. If you're not sure what it is, it's kind of like Minecraft, but in space. That's a heinously unfair way of putting the game, because it really is so much more than that. So if you haven't seen it, you should really check it out. But yeah, start brainstorming, put some ideas in the comments. I'd really be interested to see what you guys have to say. Thanks so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I will catch you next time.